Welcome back to another episode of the Todd Durkin Impact Show. And we are in November. And that means one thing as this week kicks off strong. It's a big week. Can I get an amen? Anyone? This week is a big week for a lot of reasons. And I am so excited to be on the podcast with you. Thank you so much for listening in today. I hope you enjoyed today's episode all about change. And who loves the change out there? Anyone love the change? Well, we're talking a lot about change because there's some changes coming up as we speak, like tomorrow. And we talk about a presidential election going on tomorrow. We have the grand opening for Impact X Performance, Huntington Beach, California. Yep, Huntington Beach, California. I cannot wait. This coming Thursday, we have our grand opening. If you're in the Southern California area and you would like to join yours truly and about 100 other people up in Orange County, Huntington Beach, whether you're in Los Angeles, San Diego, or you want to fly in anywhere Thursday coming up here, it is going to be one heck of a week. So November 7th, get ready to rock and roll. Huntington Beach Impact X Performance. Number seven already is dropping. I can't wait for that. And it's Parents Weekend at Davidson College. The Davidson Wildcats, my son Luke, he only has 2 football games left in his college career. And it was great to have him here as you listen to this in San Diego this past weekend. You're like, wait, Davidson's in North Carolina. They played in San Diego? Why, yes, they did. Because the University of San Diego is in the Pioneer Football League. So it was Luke's homecoming. And while I can't tell you the outcome because I'm recording this just prior to the game, I can tell you this. It certainly is always great to have Luke home. But I can say this, it's all about change, right? And a lot of change on a lot of levels. And I want you to think about all the different changes that you may be facing today or will be facing coming up in these next 2 months. We're soon going to be talking about 2025 and so much happening. But I'm going to share today I've got some favorite quotes on change. I want to inspire you about change and some of the things I think that can help you with change because no one loves change, but well, change is inevitable, right? So first and foremost, I want to talk about tomorrow. The political election? Yeah, there's some presidential changes that are going to happen. Regardless of who's voted in, we're going to have a new president. We might know tomorrow. It might be a few days after that, but we're going to have a new president. And whether it be Donald Trump or whether it be, I say Kamala Harris because that's the jersey that comes out of me, but Kamala Harris, I got to really work to say that, Kamala Harris or Donald Trump. What I want to make sure is, number one, please vote. Please vote. Don't overreact. It amazes me how some people just spend all their time about getting so divisive and vitriol over the opposition. Last I checked, the United States of America is the United States of America. Let's make sure that we cast our vote. We can go out and respect each other as fellow Americans. And whatever happens, happens. Listen, they all have their own things. You like some, you don't like some. But I always say this, is your success is not determined by who's in the White House on that. So do they affect you? Of course they do. But ultimately it comes down to, if it's going to be, it's up to me. You got to create your own success and what you're going to do. I always loved many moons ago, Ronald Reagan. Y'all remember Ronald Reagan? He used to have coffee with Tip O'Neill, his opponent. They'd have debates and then they'd have coffee or lunch together. I'm like, Trump and Harris wouldn't be caught dead in the same room having lunch or coffee on that. So I just think it's an interesting time, and God bless America. Whatever happens tomorrow, do vote. Let's do our best to respect all of the opponents and pray for our opponents, pray for the opposition, because, man, if there's ever a time this world needs more prayer, it's now. If we need God involved, it's now. So that's all coming down this week. So boom, check. Thursday. Ho, ho, ho. We have the big grand opening at Impact X Performance, Huntington Beach. A special shout out to my man, Andrew Ruiz. Andrew Ruiz was just on the podcast several weeks ago. If you have not yet listened to that, go back and listen to that, man. He is one heck of a leader, and his vision of what's going to become IXP Orange County is awesome. A special shout out to Amanda and Steve Middleman, Andrew's business partners up there. They had Momentum Fitness for 10 plus years, and it was time for a change. And Andrew meeting up with Amanda, that's when the dream began. They were both in the room in my mastermind retreat in Florida in April of 24. They just happened to sit next to each other. That was a God thing. That literally, out of, 100 people in the room, they just happened to sit next to each other, and they lived 10 miles apart and didn't know each other. Well, that was when the dream began, and now it's all coming to fruition. I visited Impact X Performance Huntington Beach just last week. We were about 9 days away from the grand opening. Right now, we're about 4 days away. No, as this drops, it'll be 4 days. And it was just awesome to see the change that's happening. I had seen Momentum Fitness, what was. Now I'm seeing what is, and the vision that all came down from all of the changes that I had endured throughout the last 4 years with, well, if you read True Strength, y'all know what that's about. It's really cool to see it now coming into fruition. If you're not in Southern California and you can't be in Huntington Beach, please, if you are, come on by, come on up. It's fairly close from 5 to 8 p.m. It's going to be an awesome time. We'll try to go live on Instagram on that Thursday night, November 7th. And check it out, because it really, really looks awesome. And there's going to be some special people there. So check out, including the mayor. We got the mayor of Huntington Beach coming in also. And I guess the one thing I'll say is, just when I was there last week and checking it out, change is about transformation, right? And still last week in the middle of the build out, everything going on. And it is always said that change is difficult in the beginning. It's messy in the middle and beautiful at the end. How true it is. It's difficult in the beginning, messy in the middle. It was messy last week. And then all of a sudden here, November 7th is going to look really good. So, shout out to my friends up there, Andrew, Amanda, Steve, and the IXP Huntington Beach community. And then lastly, before I share some awesome wisdom and quotes with you on change, big weekend coming up this week as well. Busy week between the presidential election and then obviously IXP opening. But this coming Saturday is the last home game at Davidson College. And after 4 years of Luke, my oldest son, 21 years old, playing football there, it's going to be very, very emotional because he's just got these 2 games left, both at home, one, and then at Valparaiso, which is in Indiana, which I'll be at the following week. But, I was thinking about this change. My son Luke is getting ready for a lot of changes as well. Heck, I think it was in August when I had Luke, Brady, and McKenna on the podcast right before football kicked off in August. And he shared his dreams about his post-college football career and what he was going to do. He shared with y'all that he's been in the Army ROTC program for 4 years and that he's going to be serving in the U.S. Army upon graduation. And I couldn't be more proud of Luke and all that he's doing. And then he had recently shared with me his dream and his desire to become an Army JAG attorney. I'm like, wow, Luke, that's quite a dream right there. And that was going to take a great score on his LSAT and then subsequently receiving an ed delay. And ed delays in the Army are extremely competitive because you're, competing against thousands of other cadets, and they only award a few hundred ed delays, either for medical school or for law school or physical therapy school. And that delays your entry into the Army for 3 years while you go to law school or med school or physical therapy school. Good news when it comes to change is Luke just received word a couple weeks ago that he got his ed delay. So what does that mean? It means that the good news is he gets to go to law school next year. That's 3 years, and then he'll go in as an Army JAG attorney, which is just crazy, blows my mind. But you talk about change. That's a big change. And I'm really, really proud of Luke and what he's doing. And heck, the clocks just changed. We got spring forward, fall back. It's fall time. Lots and lots of change. So let's talk about change and where are you at? Where are you at with change, right? Think about change. Are you in the beginning cycles of change? Are you in the middle of a big change in your life right now? Are there any big changes happening? Or are you at the beautiful part? Like you just completed a metamorphosis, if you will, of some of the changes that you may be experiencing, because all of us, each and every one of us experience change all the time. And my question is always, how do we get better with change? Like, how do we make progress with change? The change isn't good, but we change to get better. We change to make progress. And how do we improve? When you think, how can we improve with this change going on? Ask yourself the question is, how can I become better? How can I become a better leader? How can I become a better parent? How can I become a better athlete? How can I become a better entrepreneur? How to become a better coach or a better trainer? How can I become a better, whatever it is you do? Ask yourself that question and answer it. How can I become better? How can I become even better at this? So my question to you would be, what are you considering changing these days? And if you don't love the word change, then just change the word change to progress or improvement. Like, what are you considering improving these days? Or where are you considering making the most progress in your life these days? Is it your health? Is it your fitness? Is it your career, your career trajectory? Possibly, like Luke's change is putting him on a trajectory that in 3 years or 4 years, he's going to be a JAG attorney, and then he'll go, he'll serve in the Army. And then, whether he continues as a career or goes in the private sector, his career trajectory is changing right now. But your finances, like maybe you want to change your finances. Maybe you say, you know what, in 2025, part of the God-Sized Dreams Planner, which will come out in about the third week of November, your finances, your relationships, like even with your spouse or your kids, think about how can you improve your loving relationship with your spouse? How can you change? Well, it's easy to say, well, she needs to do this, she needs to do that. How about what can I do to become a better spouse, a better lover, a better whatever it is, right? For your kids, how can you become an even better parent on that? And then when it comes to your own changing or progress or improvement, even in your own spiritual walk or your faith walk, what can you do to strengthen your own faith walk? What are the specific things that you can commit to doing on that? And of course, if we're talking your body and your health and your spirit, how about your mind, your mindset? How can you change your mindset? I can't tell you how many people I've been talking to lately about mindset. It's like everywhere I go, people are like, man, I need to change my mind. And if you're the mind right maniac guy, you're the mindset guy. I'm like, well, let's start with where you're at. And how can we on a daily basis improve your self-talk and improve your vernacular to yourself so that we can start to have more positive self-talk and then start to believe it, because what you think and what you believe starts to become who you are, right? I always talk about that as like your thoughts become your words become your flesh become your actions become your character becomes your legacy, all from your thoughts. So how do you get your mindset right? So that being said, I scoured my resources for this episode right here, and I compiled 100. Literally, I had 100 quotes, guys. I went through my own research for today's show, 100 quotes. I said, that's too many. Let me whittle it down. I whittled it down to 62 quotes. And in like 4 minutes, I'm going to give you some of the most fascinating, deep, profound, wisdom-filled quotes on change. Oh, you don't like change? Progress, improvement, embetterment, empowerment, inspiration, whatever it is for you, but it all revolves around change. So I want you to take a couple deep breaths. If you're out working out right now, fantastic, good, keep going, push yourself. I do believe that as you're listening to this, and you're thinking about, how do I become even better? How can I make even more positive change in my life to up level and uptick me to find even more happiness, more joy, more fulfillment? Isn't that what we all want? Joy, happiness, fulfillment. Yes, that's what we want. That'll lead to more success and significance. But here are some of the top quotes. Now, I'm just going to go through them. And I'm going to share in the show notes, I'll put the entire quote with who said them all. I'm not going to go through with who said all of them, but I'm going to give you some excerpts. Go to the show notes if you'd like, because we've got a lot here. And I had a lot of fun and joy in compiling today's research for the show. Number one, change your thinking, change your life. That's right. Two, change before you have to. That's Jack Welch. Remember Jack Welch, the book called Winning, former big CEO, Jack Welch. Change before you have to. Three, change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Great quote, John Maxwell. Change is inevitable. Growth is optional. Number four, our dilemma is that we hate change and love it at the same time. What we really want is for things to remain the same, but to get better. That's pretty deep. Five, if you do not change direction, you might end up where you're heading. If you do not change direction, you might end up where you're heading. Deep thought. Number six, if you don't like something, change it. If you can't change it, change your attitude. There's a lot that come around that whole attitude thing again. Number seven, dreams are the seed of change. Nothing ever grows without a seed, and nothing ever changes without a dream. Ooh. Oh, dreams are the seeds of change. Nothing ever grows without a seed, and nothing ever changes without a dream. That's Debbie Boone. The greatest discovery of all time, number 8, is that a person can change his future by merely changing his attitude. Number 9, not everything that's faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced. Gandhi quote, number 10. Had to put number 10, Gandhi. Love Gandhi. You be the change that you wish to see in the world. Probably the most famous quote on change there is. You be the change that you wish to see in the world. I don't know which one's resonating. I want to know out of all of these, which one is going to resonate the most out of those ones I said and the ones coming up. Number 11, all great changes are preceded by chaos. Yes, they are. I'm looking at Impact X Performance last week, and man, it was chaotic. We had like 6 different contractors in there. We had the company who is designing our complete build out. I was there. Andrew was there. Amanda and Steve were there. Team was there. And there was a lot going on. All great changes are preceded by chaos. Deepak Chopra. Number 12, I cannot say whether things will get better if we change. What I can say is they must change if they are to get better. That's George Lichtenberg. I've been using that quote, Lichtenberg's quote, in my presentations for a while now. I love that one right there. Number 13 from the one and the only John Rockefeller. Don't be afraid to give up the good to go for great. Amen to that. Number 14, the secret of change is to focus all of your energy, not on fighting the old, but on building the new. Number 15, it doesn't matter how strong your opinions are. If you don't use your power for positive change, you are indeed part of the problem. Coretta Scott King. We might have to use this one tomorrow, Election Day. It doesn't matter how strong your opinions are. If you don't use your power for positive change, you're indeed part of the problem. Don't be part of the problem. Let's go. Come on. 16. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. Oh, that's a good one. Yesterday I was clever, so I wanted to change the world. Today I'm wise, so I'm changing myself. 17, by changing nothing, nothing changes. Thank you, Tony Robbins. 18, your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change, Jim Rohn. 19, those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. George Bernard Shaw. Wait a second. George Bernard Shaw, that's the same guy that has the lighthouse quote. Yeah, lighthouses. The most altruistic thing made by man is a lighthouse. Lighthouses are designed to do one thing and one thing only. Serve. Serve. That's one of our core quotes at Impact X Performance. Be the light. So great quote right there by George Bernard Shaw. Number 20, there is nothing permanent except change. 21, everyone thinks of changing the world, but no one thinks of changing himself. 22, every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars to change the world. 23, life is progress and not a station. I like that. It's like a workout station. Like you got 5 stations. No, life's a progress, not a station. Ralph Waldo Emerson. There's some big names in here that I've compiled. Like, man, it was fun going through all these. 24, failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. Failure is not fatal, but failure to change might be. John Wooden. Yeah, Coach Wooden just keeps dropping the gems. 25, change is the law of life, and those who look only to the past and present are certain to miss the future. That's good right there, John F. Kennedy. Steve Jobs, the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. Think about that. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do. That means y'all need to think a little crazy sometime. Sometimes they're going to laugh at you. Sometimes they think, that's not possible, TD. You can't do that. Or whoever. Like, that's going to take a lot of time, effort, energy, money, whatever. Whatever's on your heart, my friends, whatever's on your heart, go there. The people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world, the ones who usually do. 27, moving doesn't change who you are. It only changes the view outside your window. Deep thought, Rachel Hollis. I like that one. Moving doesn't change who you are. It only changes the view outside your window. And when I read that quote there, moving, I'm saying because you physically move, like move your house. And maybe you're in a move or you've moved before, but just because you move doesn't mean you changed, if that makes sense. Number 28. I alone cannot change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples, Mother Teresa says. Amen. I alone can't change the world, but I can cast a stone across the waters to create many ripples. 29, change, like healing, takes time. Why, yes, it does. 30, it's not the strongest of the species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to the change. 31, Viktor Frankl. When we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. I keep hearing this theme here, change from within, change ourselves. We want to change the world, and that's aspirational, fantastic. But that change comes from within ourselves. What changes can you make within yourself? Do that. So that's 31 right there. 31, half of 31. 31 plus 31, 62. We're halfway there. It's halftime, baby. It's halftime. How you doing? Out of the 31, were there one or two that spoke to you, right? What are you thinking right now when it comes to change? When you think about your dreams, your health, your mindset, your family, your relationships, your legacy, change. You read these over and over again. Maybe you want to go to those show notes and print them out, or you look at that like, man, I'm gonna contemplate and meditate on that. Right. So let's come out of halftime screaming here because we're going with number 32, Walt Disney. Third quarter. Times and conditions change so rapidly that we must keep our aim constantly focused on the future. Because times and conditions change so rapidly, we must keep our aim constantly focused on the future. Where are we going? Where are you going? Where's the world going to? How do we keep one eye on the now, the present, yet always know that our dreams are way bigger than the past, right? Make your dreams bigger than your past. 33, change is powerful, but nothing is as powerful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Think about that. Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Have you ever been stuck somewhere you don't belong? Have you ever been stuck in a quagmire of mediocrity? Have you been stuck in pain? Have you been stuck in a situation that you're unhappy in at work or at home, and you're just miserable for months or even years, or heck, some folks even maybe decades? Change is painful, but nothing is as painful as staying stuck somewhere you don't belong. Change. Number 34, life is either a daring adventure or nothing. To keep our faces toward change and behave like free spirits in the presence of fate is strength undefeatable. Helen Keller. Great quote, Helen Keller. 35. Without change, something sleeps inside us and seldom awakens. The sleeper must awaken. Awaken, my friends, awaken. 36. When in doubt, choose change. 37. Any change, even a change for the better, is always accompanied by drawbacks and discomforts. Don't think just because you change, there's going to be no drawbacks, there's no challenges. It's always going to bring apart some other challenges as well. I always say, new levels, new devils. New levels, new devils. That doesn't mean don't change. No, that means to change. That's evolution. That's progress. That's improvement. Keep going, keep evolving, and live life to the fullest on that. So that's a really important one. I like that one a lot. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Any change, yep, there you go. Growth and comfort do not coexist. Number 39. Just take any step, whether small or large, and then another, and repeat day after day. It may take months, maybe even years, but the path to success will become very, very clear on that. Change your life today. Don't gamble on the future. Act now without delay. 41. If you know what you want to achieve in life, then you're more inspired to change for the better. Change, change, change. Say, how am I going to change today? 42. There is a certain relief in change, even though it be from bad to worse. Even though it might be from bad to worse. As I have found in traveling in a stagecoach, Washington Irving said, it is often a comfort to shift one's position and be bruised in a new place. Great quote, Washington Irving. That's deep. There's certain relief in change, even though it can be from bad to worse. As I found in traveling in a stagecoach, it's often a comfort to shift one's position and be bruised in a new place. 43. It's not about standing still and becoming safe. If anyone wants to keep creating, they have to be about change. I keep hearing this theme, my friends. What change are you making in these last 2 months of 2024? What change are you preparing for in 2025? What changes are you going to make and commit to making in your life? I want to help you make these changes, these improvements, to make this progress. Some of you are going to be in Montana at the retreat coming up in another less than 2 weeks. Some of you are going to be doing the God-Sized Dreams Planner and getting that done with your annual strategic plan. It's going to provide great opportunities for you, but you must do the work. You got to do the work. 44, you never change things by fighting the existing reality. To change something, build a new model that makes the existing model obsolete, because you're always moving forward. Number 45, the pessimist complains about the wind. The optimist expects it to change. The realist adjusts the sails. William Arthur Ward. I love this one. When I was pulling all these different quotes together about change, I was only going to do 10. You're like, man, that's a lot of quotes, Todd. I had to keep going because change is inevitable. And all of these are almost affirmations as to why and how we can change ongoing to become even better. 46, in order to design a future of positive change, we must first become experts at changing our minds. 47 from my man, Robin Sharma. Great podcast episode. I'll put it in if you missed Robin Sharma's episode. Change is hardest at the beginning, messiest in the middle, and best at the end. He says best at the end. I say beautiful at the end. A great quote from Robin Sharma there. Always love Robin's work. 48, life will only change when you become more committed to your dreams than you are to your comfort zone. Commit to your dreams, not your comfort zone. We want to always come back to the comfort zone because it's uncomfortable getting outside of your comfort zone and being in dreamland. I'm going to encourage you to do more time dreaming over the next 2 months of where do you want to be? What kind of situation you want to put your family in? Where do you want to be living? How do you want to be living? What's your job like? All of these things. Spend some time thinking about that in 48. 49, embrace uncertainty. Brace uncertainty. Some of the most beautiful chapters in our lives won't have a title until much later. Great quote, Bob Goff. And True Strength didn't have a title in 2020, 21, 22, and 23. 4 years of going through that pain and change, and it finally came true strength. Good quote, Bob Goff. 50. In any given moment, we have two options. Number one, step forward into growth. Two, step back into safety. Abraham Maslow. That's a Maslowism. 51. A tiny change today brings a dramatically different tomorrow. A tiny change today. It didn't say a massive change today. Didn't mean you got to blow everything up. A tiny change today brings a dramatically different tomorrow. 52. Become a student of change. It is the only thing that will remain constant. 53. If we don't change, we don't grow. If we don't grow, we aren't really living. Preach. 54. You build on failure. You use it as a stepping stone. Close the door on the past. You don't try to forget the mistakes, but you don't dwell on them either. You don't let it have any of your energy or any of your time or any of your space. Johnny Cash. Johnny Cash. I love that one. It might be the top one for me. You build on failure. You use it as a stepping stone. Close the door on the past. Don't try to forget the mistakes. Don't dwell on it. Don't let it have your energy or your time or your space. Johnny Cash, it's great right there. Like, build on the failure. It's okay that you failed. It's okay something happened. You got a diagnosis. Build on that. Let it be part of your future. 55. When we strive to become better than we are, everything around us becomes better too. Deep thought, Paulo Coelho. 56. Do not waste time on things you cannot change or influence. Don't waste time on things you can't change or influence. 57. We cannot change what we are not aware of. And once we are aware, we cannot help but change. 58. Change your thoughts and you change your world. Famous quote from Norman Vincent Peale right there. 58. 59. We almost there, my friends. We almost there. We're about 30 minutes in and I can't believe it. We're already there. 59. The most beautiful and profound way to change yourself is to accept yourself completely, as imperfect as you are. 60. From the Dalai Lama. Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. Open your arms to change, but don't let go of your values. At your core, stay who you are. 61. The main dangers in this life are the people who want to change everything or nothing. Like, I ain't changing. I'm stuck in my ways. Don't be that person. And be careful of just blowing everything up in your world to change everything because you're sick and tired of what's going on. Like, the main danger in his life are the people who want to change everything or nothing. That's why I asked you to identify those questions about what is it specifically that you would like to change. And in number 62, the final one is by Eckhart Tolle. Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. I'm going to repeat that. And I kept that one, number 62, to say thank you for staying with me the entire time, because this one right here, my friends, is deep. Some changes look negative on the surface, but you will soon realize that space is being created in your life for something new to emerge. Have you ever felt like there's space in your life being created for something to emerge? It's a really, really great feeling when you know that there's something on the horizon. There's a rose that's about to bloom, like whatever that is. So I'm going to close today with just asking you a few of those questions about change. Where does it need to happen in your life? Where does that change need to happen in your life so that you can maximize your own gifts, your own skills, your own talents? Like, where is that? Where are you at with that? Think about change. Maybe you are in the beginning, maybe you're in the middle, maybe you're at the tail end. But when you think about change and all that you're doing with change, man, it is a really important aspect with change and the evolution of you as a man, as a woman, with change. So think about that. And I say, well, how do you execute that? Guys, do your 10 forms of wealth and your 3 and 30. I don't just say it to say it, do your 10 forms of wealth in 3 and 30. If you're listening to this in the beginning of November, do it for November. Your 10 forms of wealth, it's in your God-sized dreams planner. Your 10 forms of wealth, it's going to take you about 2 minutes. Rate yourself, your 10 forms of wealth, and in the 10 forms of wealth, where are you at and what do you need to change in order to go from a 5 or 6 to a 7 or 8, or from a 2 to 3 to a 5? Like, how do I make that 1% improvement in my life? And then do your 3 and 30. And if you're hearing for the first time, we got a lot of new folks listening in. So thank you. We got a lot of new people in the last couple of months listening into the podcast. Do your 3 and 30. Those are 3 goals in your 10 forms of wealth in the next 30 days. So these are 3 goals for your 10 forms of wealth in the next 30 days. So when you look at your physical health, what are 3 goals? You look at your inner self, your spiritual world. What are your 3 goals for your spiritual walk, and what are you doing with that? When you look at your mindset, what are you going to do with your mindset? What are 3 goals for that? Your family, your professional world, your financial world, your circle of genius, or your social world. For adventure, what are 3 goals this month? Can't wait to get to Montana. We're going to do it in 4 days, 4 days of adventure. Your love in your life, and of course, your impact or legacy. Those are the 10 forms of wealth. But your 3 goals just this month. Just this month, what are you going to do to really amp it up? As you get ready for your God-sized dreams planner at the end of this month, and you focus on that, if you're doing your 10 forms of wealth, you're doing your 3 and 30s, and you're doing your God-sized dreams planner, your annual strategic plan, my friend, you have the system of what it takes to change, to make the important change that you desire and you wish to change within your life. So there you have it. Today is all about change, and it's time for a change. Change is happening this week. Whether we like it or not, there's going to be a new president. I don't know which one as I record this. I don't know. I know who I voted for, but I don't know who's going to be the final president. And frankly, I'm not putting my success, my happiness, my joy, my fulfillment in who's in the front office on that. So just know that's coming. And any changes that you've got coming up, is it time for a change? And if so, what are those changes? And if at the beginning, the middle, or the end, I just want to remind you to keep on going. Thank you so much. Let's make it a great week. Remember to tune in this Thursday for our grand opening for the Impact X Performance in Huntington Beach. It's a very exciting time in the Impact X Performance family with our 7th location. We've got some other great updates coming up here real soon. Really excited about some of the people who are coming on board with our team and what we're doing. And it's going to be a great, strong finish to 2024. So buckle up for that. And let's get ready for a great kickoff to 2025 coming up here real soon. Hey, if this is your first time, by the way, listening to the podcast, or you haven't done it in a while, please go back. Make sure you give us a 5-star rating for our iTunes, and write us a review. Those reviews really help us as we talk about change coming up. Part of the podcast series coming up, I'll be sharing with some of our progressions and improvements that I'm looking to make within our brand in 2025. I was writing on a plane the other day, 4 hours of writing of like my dreams of what I want to do to constantly progress and improve what we're doing. Just like yourself, you've got to choose in what areas of your life you want to improve. Maybe it's your physical health and your nutrition and your fitness and your mindset. Like whatever it is for you, make those decisions and get ready to make some massive changes. Hopefully those 62 quotes, all of them will be in your show notes. So if you choose, just go back, check out the show notes. It'll have them in there along with the folks who said each of those quotes. So thank you. God bless you. Until next time, train hard, eat right, and live inspired. Go create impact today. Be the light, my friends. Be the light.